Well, good evening everyone and welcome. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the Royal Overseas League, for those of you who haven't been here before. I'm Andrew Grill, I'm the Actionable Futurist. I'll be your host tonight. And we're joined live from Perth where it is 3 o'clock in the morning.
Originally, we developed our technology as an on-premise hardware solution, really aimed about reducing antisocial and violent behaviour at nightclubs, pubs, etc.
What sort of companies are using your solution today and how have you grown the company from essentially checking ID, driver's license, through to vaccine passports and those sort of things?
Our technology is being used, for example, around telcos to prevent fraud. It's being used at liquor stores around preventing people to purchase excess alcohol in areas that there are drinking problems. It's also used to onboard employees at large retailers. It's fantastic if you can walk into a nightclub and hold up a state-issued app to show that you've been vaccinated. That's not really practical if a company like BHP, for example, is having people go to their mining sites. What our technology is allowing those businesses to do is to collect vaccine certificates and to upload them to pre-verify that that is a true vaccine certificate and they're up to date. There is an increasing requirement around regulations, or if not regulations, at least for businesses to de-risk having the wrong people in the wrong place. And I think nursing or medical professionals is a fantastic area to look at. And to give a quick real-world example, we just recently had in Australia, and this is not an isolated case, it occurs very regularly, where a young woman spent 6 months working in a state-based hospital for only to be determined that she hadn't actually passed her final medical exam and therefore wasn't a qualified doctor. That at a moral level, incredible risk of being treated by that person, of course, who isn't qualified, but also from a business risk level, the potential costs if something went wrong of being sued would be astronomical risk to a business, as they should be. There are many disparate, as you said, structured and unstructured data sets that you need to put together. And historically, the real problem is it's been a manual process. A human is required at some stage to look at different documents, which from our perspective is pointless because looking at a document is so easily fakeable these days. So it's almost on its own quite a useless test. And it's particularly useless because the type of people that are going to defraud you are inevitably going to provide you faked documents. I'm sure this young lady that worked as a doctor would have got a fake university qualification stating that she'd passed. The real requirement is needed is a way that makes it very easy for the 99% of legitimate users, and easy, I guess, for the non-legitimate users, is to be able to provide certain sets of information that then technology can go and easily test. That would mean that a person, for example, working as a nurse would be requested to upload or provide information about themselves. So that could be, for example, a driver's license, it could be a passport. What our technology will allow you to do is to query to say, is that a real driver's license or passport? If it's a foreign passport, we'll be able to go then check to make sure that they have the correct visa. We're then able to query unstructured or open data sources to confirm on a public health register that that person is a qualified nurse. And importantly, there's a difference between being a qualified nurse and also a registered nurse. So if you forget to pay your registration dues, whilst you might be a qualified nurse, you're unable to work in a hospital system until you've got your registration complete. And then we're also able to do a deep dive to find out what kind of nursing qualifications you have, because you may be an oncology nurse or a midwife. That very much determines where you can work in that role. And then lastly, in a world around vaccine certifications, to then qualify looking at that vaccine certification to make sure that is a legitimate certificate issued from, in Australia, centralised authority. The problems that we're seeing in Australia are very much global problems. So the ability for someone to easily provide the information that they need to work with a business is clunky at best. It's in most cases, I get asked on a regular basis, who are your competitors? And look, there's a number of significant players globally and a few domestically in Australia. But really, to me, the biggest competitor we have is an inefficient manual process.
Ches, thank you so much for your time. We'd give him a round of applause, please.